I am here with Dr. Lisa Marie Lee. I'm Dr. Joseph J. Burt-Miller, and together we're bringing you Docs and Docs. We're two doctors bringing you insight on the latest documents from both cybersecurity and HR perspective. Dr. Lisa, how are you today?
I'm well. Hold on, let me do my. Hey,
Yeah.
everybody! Finally live. The struggle. We are finally live. For those that don't know me, I'm Dr. Lisa Marie Lee, and I'm the Dope CEO and Zen Workplace Guru. And specifically, I help businesses to effectively manage their employees by understanding barriers that are hindering performance. And today we are going to speak about the Lensa app. Dr. Joseph, would you like to give us more information on the popular Lensa app for those that don't know what it is and how it can be a danger?
Yes, absolutely. So let me share with the world at least one article um, from our research. Okay. And bring this. That's a little better, right? All right. So, yeah, we want to talk about the Lensa AI app. So, Lensa AI, and those that don't know, artificial intelligence. The Lensa AI has become one of the most popular apps in the world. Currently ranks number one on both Apple and Google's charts with 5 million downloads in December of this year, according to businessofapps.com. So the app has gone viral for its ability to create magic avatars of users. So and Lensa AI is a photo and video editor that recently launched the magic avatar is powered by AI, again, artificial intelligence, and this generates stylized portraits of users who submit images of themselves. So the portraits can be styled in various ways, such as sci-fi or fantasy rendering. So this popular app also comes with concerns. And number five of Lensa's terms of use reads in part, and I quote, "You grant us a perpetual, irrevocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable, sub-licensable license to use, reproduce, modify, distribute, create derivative works of your user content." End quote. So, in layman's terms, as a user of Lensa, you pretty much agree that any photographs that you submit to Lensa can be used in any manner that they please. And paraphrasing our national security analyst Clint Watts, he explained the danger of giving a company a photo of your face. He says that your face is used to identify you and unlock your identity online. Um, I guess before going on, did you have I guess Dr. Lisa, did you have some questions before we go
Yeah.
further with this?
Wow. I think it's really scary. I don't think people really realize how dangerous something like this can be. One basic way is just your iPhone, and how you use your phone. That's a way of using your facial imaging. So for the layman that doesn't understand that, that's one example. But also from an HR perspective, companies do use this form of technology as well. Many will rely on it, which is, for those that don't know, it is called biometric scanning, also known as facial recognition, retina
Right.
scans, to basically verify employees' identity to maintain different types of security clearances. And in the business world, it's used to get into physical office spaces and to record employees' attendance. Like on laptops, it's even used on your company computers. So when I speak of that, so you're looking remote work and within the workplace. So ways that it can be used to record employees' attendance and monitor their activities while working remotely. A lot of companies, they'll have the facial recognition to track productivity and work presence in the home. And for those that might know, this taps into privacy concerns, and depending on where people are living internationally, definitely that's something that is not viewed as acceptable. But here in America, companies can get away with that, and there have been cases where companies have been successfully sued, and employees
Mhm.
have been compensated, because in places like Belgium and overseas, a lot of places like that, this is a privacy concern, just so people know, because I know we're speaking to an international base, but here in America, this is something that is not viewed as a privacy concern. I mean, outside of the moral aspect, but speaking legally, not really, unless it's used for some sort of bias concern. But another way that this type of technology is used is to stop unauthorized personnel from like entering into different workspaces, like in security situations, um, to help with security personnel to maintain control of entryways, and basically to use to understand, uh, to recognize employees by their facial recognition, for entry, or to confirm or deny access and things like that. And when you are inside, they can use it to track your movements and stuff with the use of cameras, for those that don't know, and automatically record timestamps and things like that, like when you enter and exit a certain space or things like that. But as I said, depending on where you live here in the country, you know, there really is no form of accountability, and companies can, you know, get away with using this type of information. And many times without your knowledge, they can be using,
Mhm.
they don't even need your consent. But a lot of companies will be straightforward. When you do apply for these positions, if you read the fine print, you are agreeing for a company to use this form of authentication on you. So that's something that is very important for anyone that's looking for employment, or even as you level up within your career in a company, maybe at a lower level, you didn't need to sign this type of information and have this type of access. But as you get higher up into your career, you're given more access to information, and you become more of a security risk for a company. So it is something to be aware of, especially when you're using apps like Lensa. You're thinking you're having fun and thinking this, taking this awesome picture, but this company is using your information. And I wonder, Dr. Joseph, what forms of biometric authentication have you experienced in the workplace?
So from my experience, I had I have not. Um, I get yeah. No, I've used a fingerprint.
Hmm.
And that was more so on the kind of like the job onboarding side, like
Yeah,
background verification check, that type of thing. But I have not, at least not to this point, have not used biometrics as a way as to verify who I am in order to get in the building, to go to work
I know there's a
or
lot
anything
of
like that.
stigma around it now. So people are,
Hmm.
especially with the government, so they're like leaning more to just the regular the digital or the identification badge type thing. I know that's something that I've only used, or I've done like the hand scan to
Hmm.
get to certain spaces and things like that. I have not done, well, not to my knowledge. I don't think anyone
Right.
scanned my face.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point because I think well, as we were talking earlier, um, Dr. Joy,
Mhm.
she did some really great work on she did put out a documentary or movie slash documentary on Netflix a couple years back. It's called Coded Bias, and she does really go in depth in talking about that, how there is bias behind, with the use of our artificial intelligence, where and you're talking about, using your, face scans or fingerprint or what have you, and a lot of times, even without your acknowledgement or without your permission. I think there was some, um I don't remember the country, But as far as their security systems, the security cameras, as you walk by it, it's
Mhm.
taking face scans of you as you walk by. I, yeah, so but they're saying they're using it as a way of security, but no one is agreeing to having their face scanned. Or some people tried, when people got hip to it, they try to like hide their face or put like a hoodie on or something,
Yeah.
because they know that that particular corner or camera know that they was going to scan them. um but yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of controversy with it. There's also, I believe, like some of our current systems where starting to see, or is about to be implemented, or if it's not done already. I think within TSA, going to the airports, they
Yeah,
talk
I think
about
I did hear something
using,
like that.
yeah,
I know, like overseas, like Europe, they use the CCTV, and that does have a form of facial recognition. And
yeah,
Interpol, I know they do use that. So, I mean, here in America, our system isn't as advanced. I mean, in lots of places, they do utilize cameras and things like that, but it's not how it would be overseas by far. Our infrastructure is way behind when it comes to that form of technology. But I mean, I'm just going off what they tell us. So,
okay,
we don't really know. I mean, but I mean, I know that satellites are used to zoom in and things like that as well, outside of like CCTV, right? So
yeah,
there is some sort of technology like that, when it comes to like law enforcement and just defense mechanisms, different branches of government. So there's some form of technology that is using that, but I think that's why it's so important, when you're thinking you're having fun with taking these images, with Lensa, and you're thinking you're having fun, but you're not realizing that this company is holding onto your face. Like
yeah,
literally, it's got
right,
your face. They
right,
say that they're not using this information, but who's to say, like when you're logging into these apps, you're giving away not your personal information, which is your email address and your name, right? And so who's to say that someone's not Googling who these people are? Because all it takes is a Google search now. So
right,
someone finds out who you are and where you work, even down to if you're just a nurse and it's going into like HIPAA and things like that, and you're getting access to people's records. They figure out where you work, and then they get in because they got your information. Then they can figure out how to hack into your company email. And then once they've got that access, they're into the system. That leads me into my
right,
next question.
right.
How can a company be compromised by using an individual's image, maliciously, Dr. Joseph?
Well, yeah, I mean, because definitely when you start talking about like security of systems, especially like if an individual is working, let's say, with or responsible for maybe some top secret systems, and
Mhm.
someone is able to get your facial recognition, and it's not even just face. There's so many different other
Yes.
forms of biometrics. We talk about fingerprint, we talk about voice, we could talk about iris, the scan of your eyes. So if someone is able to capture, or able to get this form of biometric data on you, and they can manipulate or use it to their advantage. um it kind of makes me even think about, if you ever watch like some of the, I'm a big nerd. I love like the Mission Impossible movies, and
Yes.
especially if you remember like the first couple movies,
Yes.
where Tom Cruise, he had to get access to that a really high security area, where go with all these different layers of security, where you dropped off
Mhm.
from the top, and using another person's scans and everything like that. But that's essentially what could happen. Like someone who knows like where you work, what you do, what you're responsible for, what you have access to, they could try to pull off like your fingerprint scans, or your iris scans or whatnot, and then reuse that somewhere else to try to get illegally gain access to certain systems, or areas where they wouldn't have permission to. So yeah, it definitely poses a big risk, if companies like this are able to capture and, like I said, manipulate in this case your face,
Mm.
and to kind of use it towards their advantage, or however they wish to use it. That really poses a big danger. um and I kind of want to get into a little bit more, talking about how this app really works. And because there's also, I mean, there's a lot of controversy, especially from the I would say the art community,
Mm.
that they're not really big fans of this app as well.
Yeah.
So let me bring this back up. But I'll finish what I'm saying. So yeah, so how does Lensa work?
Okay.
Stable diffusion. So stable diffusion is the software behind Magic Avatars, and it's one of the many text to image generators that have grown in popularity in uh, in 2022. So for it to work, the user sends around 10 to 20 selfies, along with a payment of $7.99 or $3.99, $3.99, if you elect for a trial version. So after the submission, the user receives a batch of unique avatars created by the AI software. Now, this has upset the art community, as artists complain that the software impacts their work.
Mm.
Some claims that these are stealing art. These are art stealing AI systems. Australian artist Kim Lutweiler told The Guardian that Lensa AI was replicating distinct styles that mimic the work of other artists.
Mm-hmm.
So multiple artists have accused Stable Diffusion of training the AI with copyright protected
Yep.
images, and of course, Stable Diffusion has denied those claims.
Hmm.
So now we're talking about, like, we're talking about the safety. Like, is it safe to upload your photos? So a
Mhm.
recent analysis conducted by Wired has warned users to consider the potential privacy issues before sharing any data with the app. So Lensa's privacy policy states that it deletes all metadata that may be associated with your photos and videos before they are stored in the app system. Additionally, it states that the information we collect automatically under this privacy policy may include your personal data.
Mhm.
It said it helps us to improve Lensa and to deliver better service, including but not limited to enabling us to estimate our audience size and usage patterns and recognize when you use Lensa. There have been warnings that the AI can produce sexual or offensive content without users' consent. MIT technology review reporter, excuse me, Melissa Hakila, said that the AI generator sent her back various images where she was topless in overtly sexualized poses. Um, and lastly, I mean, if that's not crazy enough, people really, I think, went overboard for this app, because now they want to look like these
Yeah.
images that is generated from this Lensa AI app. So there has been plastic surgery requests, because of this. Dr. Terry Dubrow from Botched have he's received inquiries from patients who want to become those images in real life, according to TMZ. Dr. Dubrow offered his concerns about this and cautioned that the surgery was impossible and not recommended. Dr. Deepak Dugar and Dr. Ben Talai agree that Dr. Agree with Dr. Dubrow's assessment, as they have also received requests from obsessed fans for Lensa-related plastic surgery.
Yep.
All three famous surgeons said no ethical surgeon would contemplate taking on a surgical procedure based on an avatar, per
Yeah.
TMZ.
Mm.
I mean, that's
Go
nuts.
down.
I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, I think it's nuts.
That's his job. What do you mean? No. I'm just-
but but no, I mean, there's so many, I'd say, different dangerous aspects of this.
Yes.
I mean, we talk about, as far as Lensa capturing your data. I mean, and also you have to give up so many images, like, so, and,
Yes.
and you're
Wow.
not getting back. It's not a one-to-one swap, so it's only choosing, maybe you're only getting back maybe 2 to 3 images out of the
Mhm.
10 to 20 images you send. So what are they doing with the other images?
They're creating doppelgangers. No,
Right.
maybe so. I mean, the future is AI and robotics, and the idea of humanizing technology into our lives, right? I mean, fiction makes reality. So we see we see on movies. That's the thing. I'm wearing an Aliens t-shirt, everybody, the nerd in me. And in
Right.
Aliens, the droids look like humans, right? And
Right.
that's the idea of it. So that's where my mind goes. My mind goes into that. That's what we're leading into, and you want them to look as human as possible. And there's also this movie with Bruce Willis, I can't think of it, where people actually were avatars. If they went outside, they climbed into the machine, you know
Oh
and
man.
they were an avatar. I can't think of the name of the movie, and it was to
Yeah,
the point
I
that
have
they
to
didn't even
research
walk
that.
around no more. And they wanted the machines to look like humans. So it why do you even need to save the images? It definitely is a concern, but the nerd in me, that's kind of where I go with it. The
Yeah.
humanizing of technology, as we bring more of that into the workspace and things like that. People are getting upset about people coming into the workforce. So I just think that's kind of really where I'm going with that. My mind is leading to that.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, it's something that could definitely get. I mean, if it's not already out of control, I think it could really go off the rails. I think I think we will start to we'll hear more stories about maybe those that want to look like their avatar images.
Yes, yes.
You're gonna have more cases where we talk about that one reporter is, she sent some images, and they sent her back images in these
Hmm.
these sexually clad, or suggestive type images, where, and she never sent anything like that
Exactly. Like,
to
why are you doing that? Where did that even come from? And
and
it's just weird. And then the biases behind that, that's
right.
that's another one. The importance of understanding that whoever's creating these apps, they're trying to create this type of thinking or this type of world, right? If whoever has the biases and the
Hmm.
weird thinking, the systemic forms of ideas
and
and things, or however they feel the world should be, right? So they're putting it into machines. And
right,
so
and
then
that's how
that's
it's being
creating this
trained.
normal that isn't real, and that can lead to more hate in the world,
Hmm.
over sexualization or whatever type of thinking, the manipulation of the mind. And that's pretty much what that is, and the having people feel as though they're not pretty if they don't look like this image,
Mm.
or, I mean, we can, since we're speaking on a LinkedIn perspective, people, do get work done and plastic surgery and things like that. They want to look a certain way in the workplace, so,
Right.
you know, it's like it's scary times. It's definitely scary times. When you think about that type of thing and how it can impact the workforce. And if someone's feeling however they're feeling and they don't feel that they appear a certain way or carry themselves a certain way, we already deal with imposter syndrome, and it's a big thing that a lot of people deal with that. Now you have this app, and then people thinking you're supposed to look like this, um
Right.
you know it's just really interesting. It's really
It,
interesting in a scary way. In a scary way.
yeah, and I think it doesn't help with, those who may have maybe more like deep rooted like self-esteem issues when
Yes.
it comes to that, when we're talking about, yeah, your image, your likeness, like how you look or how you're perceived against the world. And Yeah, some people like when they see their images, these AI generated images, and they're like taken aback, like, oh man, this is beautiful. Now, I
Yes.
want more of this. And but but honestly, this is not really the first we've seen this. I mean, we've kind of seen this already with Instagram and like other
Mhm.
apps that
Yep.
give you that option to like put filters on your picture and
Mhm.
make you look, a different way. But when you boil it down, that it's not real. Like
Yeah.
that's not you. Yes, I mean that's the base. You're providing the structure, the foundation of it.
Yeah.
But as far as when you talk about the manipulation of it,
Yeah.
when we're talking about filters, that
Yeah. I mean,
that
I'm
part of
using a
it is
Mac.
not
My Mac
right.
has a filter. The camera has.
Right.
I know I'm beautiful, but I mean, thanks, Mac. It's got
Right.
me. It's where the light hits me a certain way and things like that. But now even computers are coming in with different filters so that you can come more appealing to the eye. It's rooted in everything that we do now. The fear that if I'm not appeasing to the eye, no one will listen to me, no one will take me seriously. If I,
Yeah.
like me, I wear my natural hair. Some people are, more Black women are wearing their natural hair. I've been natural, what? Oh God. I'm aging myself. 17 years. So I was natural when people were scared to be natural. And even then, I wasn't afraid of, all of that. I never really, I don't know, the person I am, it didn't bother me. But for a lot
Mhm.
of other people, it was a thing like, oh, I want to be taken seriously. I'm not going to be taken seriously if I look a certain way, if I talk a certain way, if I live
Right.
in a certain area. Everything is all about how you appear on paper and how you appear pleasing to the eye. And it's like the gateway to success, as many would
Right.
like to think. Not for many, but for all, but for a lot. So it's a lot to do with how you're perceived, and definitely leading into social media, as you said, that has made it a big issue. With everyone having this expectation that people are going to look a certain way, and then you go into the surgery of it because people see you online and then they see you in real life and they realize you don't look like that. A lot of these
Right.
celebrities don't look like that. So they're
Yeah.
scared to come out their door. You know what I mean? And if they do, it's only in certain settings with certain lighting and certain, people interviewing them. And, it's all laid out strategically. But in real life terms, for the average person, they don't have that. So yeah, they're going to run to the plastic surgeon. They're going to do all these different things to try to appear a certain way, to appear as though they have it all together. Sadly.
Yeah. There was actually something. So I saw something on the news the other day. The new Indiana Jones movie that's gonna be coming out, like
It's gonna be
Indiana
good too.
Jones 5. And so Harrison Ford, I don't know how old he is now, probably pushing 70, if he's not already 70 already. But I did read that, for the movie they're using, like this de-aging software so he doesn't look as
I believe it, and
old
I
in
believe it.
in the movie. So yeah, it's I mean, but as far as like plastic surgery, because concern it, I mean, that's always been, I'd say, I don't know if it's an issue, but I mean, I guess I'll say it's an option. People that elect to do that,
Yes,
that's their right, or
that's their
if they
thing.
want to do that. But it, but I think with this app now, I think it's even bringing more undue pressure on people, like you said, like you said, how people are looking at them and how they're being perceived, and
Yes,
that they want to have maintained a certain look, especially if you are like working, if you're doing movies or TV, or you're working in a profession where your face, you're showing your face to the world on a regular basis. Those that that there may be those that want to maintain a certain look and presence,
yes.
and you're trying to fight against nature. I mean, it's we honestly, you're not gonna win. But some people are just, I guess they can't accept that, and they go into these different measures, or whether do plastic surgery or have some sort of any sort of work done to themselves to try to maintain this look that they feel they need to maintain. But
Yes.
as we go on, I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be more about this, especially with the the data manipulation of aspect of it.
Mhm.
I think we're definitely going to learn more. I think as more people use this and see how it's, yes, you're getting the image, but also there's also the other aspect of it when we talk about when we read that privacy policy portion of it, how now they can use your image and put it elsewhere, and
Yeah.
you don't get paid, you don't get any sort of
And
recognition or whatever.
that's with a lot of social media apps too.
Hmm.
Like I know Instagram and like all of that, and I know a lot of celebrities they've gone through and tried to sue for certain images, or like Getty Images is sued because the celebrity has posted an image, and because it goes into like a copywriting type thing. But I know
Yeah.
once it's on Instagram, if it's not already copywritten, you know how you have like Getty Images and those different companies that take
Hmm.
pictures and they copyright it immediately. If it's not something like that, it's property of Instagram. So even when you're putting it on just regular Instagram, or well, Facebook is a little different, but I know Instagram, it's theirs. It's not
Mm.
really yours anymore. And so
Yeah.
that's why you see on like when the news and they see what you have posted and they find it, and let's say it's a crime happening or something like that, you know, they really don't even have to credit you. They do because they do cite you now, but when social media first started, they weren't citing people, and people would get mad because it's like you're giving them a tip, and some outlets pay for tips.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a way for them to kind of get over on someone, which kind of leads into how they are creating these softwares. They're just filtering in images to this software system, into the algorithm, so that the algorithm can learn what they assume we want to look like. And that's the scary part. It's the assumption. And so it's not real, it's an assumption. And so that's where the manipulation comes in, right? Where people cannot
Right.
really know what's real and what's not real, and they can get lost in that.
and
And
and and also the other element behind that is the engineers behind,
yes,
like, who are the ones that are
who
training
are these
these
people?
systems. So yeah, so I mean that's a whole other aspect of it as
Yeah,
well.
that kind of leads into like why people don't like TikTok and they want TikTok to be banned, because here in America it's not the same as how it is in China. And,
Mhm.
I mean, that's like that with other things as well. There's things that are different here in America, and overseas it's different, you know. I mean, even down to just like Netflix. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
different,
Every country has like their
you know,
different
because of different laws
regulations.
here in America, things can
Right.
kind of just get skirted by. And, there's different loopholes that they can get through. And overseas, it's different. And I think that that's one learning lesson that we can learn. How are other countries combating this? We mainly get mad because the host country is doing something different, but what can you learn from others? Because it's not just that host country, but other countries, usually in Europe, where they have strong privacy laws and things like that, where this type of thing, Lensa's not able to get away with this overseas, not in the EU. They're not going to get away with that. Oh no.
Right. Right.
So that's something we
Yeah.
need to start looking at, and companies as well. I know um like a lot of here in Virginia, Governor Youngkin just said that TikTok can't be on state devices. It shouldn't be on there anyway. You know what I mean? These are policies
Yeah. Like
that
on government
are
device.
and that
Right.
you should already have. So what do
Right.
you need a law for? That law should, I mean, it shouldn't be on there anyway. I mean, that should already be a policy in the government system. No outside apps and devices and things, all of that on your system. That's automatic policy. So really that's for show.
Right.
When you see that type of stuff, that's more for show, because if it's government, it's not allowed on there anyway, and it's not even going to allow you to download it on there anyway, especially like with kids machines and computers that they give at school. They're not allowed to just go on and download. And I know with like VA equipment and things like that, you can't just go on and download. They have locking systems and different things like that, that you can't even really get on. So when you see that type of thing, that's mainly for show, because those systems are technically already in place. It's when you're not protecting your own personal information. And I think that's the most important. And that's
Right.
where people need to pay attention. It's not the business aspect, it's the personal. That's why the Lensa is, when we're talking about this is people, and they're taking these images and they're putting them on their personal accounts. And so they're taking that's the manipulation, because it's through the personal aspect. You're having fun, this isn't serious. This isn't for work, so I mean, some may be using it for work, I don't know, depending on your job, right? Because there's some laid back jobs, right? And that's the gateway of it. That's
Right.
where the gateway is. And then all it takes is from someone to know who you are and understand your identity. And then that leads into getting the access, which isn't hard because you've already given it away.
Yeah. It's essentially like a smoke show. Yes,
Yeah.
you're getting distracted by, yes, this app make you look this certain way, but in the meantime, they're getting what they need from you. They're getting your personal data, and now they can learn more about you and what you do. Especially when we're talking about, like,
Yes.
if you're affiliated with a government agency, or maybe like certain systems that you may be in charge of or responsible for, that could be very valuable data,
All they need to know
for
is who you
for
are.
right. So the more they learn about you, the more they can use that to their advantage to manipulate. And I mean, I know we talked about earlier about using your biometric data,
Yes.
depending on what you may be responsible for,
Mhm.
how that could be, like I said, that could be very very valuable, um for companies like Lens, or others that are
Mm.
in a position that can collect your data.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like more of this will come about. We'll definitely learn more, especially as the new year comes along, and we'll see how this progresses. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely some dangers with this, and something to keep an eye on. But I think this was great. I think this is a wrap. Dr. Lisa, thank you again for being here. I think we'll have to figure out what we're going to do for next episode. We'll definitely
Yeah.
discuss
Yeah.
and put it out there. But I thought this was a great discussion. So again, that's it for today. Thank you all those watching. Um, if you have any comments, ideas, or you want to enter the discussion, definitely reach out. You can find us on LinkedIn, or reach out to us on YouTube. So but for today, we are out. And Dr. Lisa, if you want to give last words.
Well, Dr. Joseph, it's another headline that got skirted under the rug that we've just discussed. It's just amazing
we,
how,
we went under the rug and pulled it back out.
yeah, we're going to shake that thing off. It's just amazing that these topics, which is why I love having these discussions, how they are just not really getting the headlines. Everyone's just in a smoke screen, gaslit. I don't know what it is. What's going on? I don't know, but we're going to we're going to talk about it, and we're going to
Right.
bring light to it, and why these discussions are necessary, and how they can impact you personally and professionally, because if your information is stolen, I mean, like, you're the one that's going to get in trouble. You're
Right.
the one they're going to go to, when something goes wrong, and then you can't explain how your face was stolen, and the Lensa bandit
Right.
ran off with your face, and used your identity to gain access to whatever important information or money or whatever. I don't know. It could be anything. There's so many different avenues that can go down. So we're going to stay on top of these necessary discussions. And with that being said,
Absolutely.
everyone stay tuned for episode 3. No, episode 4. Oh my God, we're going into episode 4. Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Yes.
Yay!
All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you on the next one.